emanating from deep under the earth, spreading across the globe at the speed of thought, changing the world one brain at a time. This is the Final Order Report from Green Brain Comics. Hello and welcome to the Final Order Report, where we bring you a hand-picked selection of comics and graphic novels before they head to print and quantities are finalized. I am Dan Merritt, Chief Purchasing Officer at Green Brain Comics, and I'm here to give you the inside scoop and your last chance to subscribe or special order before the final order deadline this Monday, January 13th at noon. These titles will be hitting our shelves as soon as February 5th. Green Brain Comics and the Final Order Report are proudly powered by Comichub. Check out Comichub online at comichub.com. Or download the mobile app for Android and iPhone. Create an account or access your existing account to order and pay securely online, ensuring you never miss an issue. Today I'll be using Comichub to showcase items from this week's Last Call for Confirmed Orders Carousel. Let's move right into that. Once you sign into Comichub, you see the carousels here. The top one is the current search. We got preview pages for upcoming books. The orders due Sunday is the carousel that we will be looking at today. Below that is Wednesday's items that are hitting the shelf. And then we've got upcoming events in the carousels below. Let's scroll back up to orders due Sunday. And we can open that up. As soon as you see that, we got the alphanumeric filters in red, and above that we have drop downs for publisher, category, brand, etc. Now also this scrolls top to bottom. Now that we're in there, let's show you real quickly what we got to show you today. And that's first going to start out in new printings. Our first new printing today is from Alien Comics and their Valiant Entertainment brand. This is a reprinting of Exo Man of War number 0 by legendary artist Joe Quesada, reproduced in its original black and white pencils with inks by Jimmy Palmiotti. This special edition will contain no dialogue, captions, or word balloons and will be printed in oversized 7.5 by 11 format. This will be 28 pages for $5.99 and will be available on February 12th from Valiant/Alien Books. Next up, we got from Boom Studios, we got a new printing of Jim Henson Presents number 1. The second printing has a character design cover by Danny Luckert and will be available on February 12th. Oh, I gotta fix this date. I could do it live. Sorry, I do this all the time. I'm a complete professional. Let's see. 01/13. It's official now. Monday's the 13th. Okay, next up is City Beneath Her Feet number 1, a recent release from Distillery Press. Let's get back to where I could show you the real cover here. The City Beneath Her Feet number 1 has this third printing cover by interior artist Elsa Chartier and is a wraparound cover. Beautiful art. Love that offset colors. That is 48 pages for $8.99. Then we have Doll Parts, A Lovesick Tale number 1. This gets a second printing with a recolored or decolored version of the A cover from the first print. Rockefellers number 1 gets a third printing, as well as number 2 gets a second printing from Image Comics and Ghost Machine. This has been very well received. I think we just sold out of our second issue as well. And here's an interesting thing. Superman, The Last Days of Lex Luthor, #1 from Mark Waid and Brian Hitch gets a second printing in advance of the second issue going to print soon, I'm told. This book was canceled off the schedule probably about a year or so ago. It is in the Black Label format and is 48 pages for $6.99 with this Lex Luthor, with this Brian Hitch cover, Lex Luthor cover. Superman, The Last Days of Lex Luthor, second print. And here we get a couple second prints for It's Jeff. This is the fourth printing of the original one-shot, just called It's Jeff. And we get a second printing of It's Jeff, the Jeffverse. Yes. With the popularity of It's Jeff skyrocketing right now with the, I think he's in Marvel Rivals. I don't know. I'm talking out of my lane. I'll get back to it. And I'm back in the lane with this really disorienting interstitial between segments here. Our next segment will be it's actually not that. My gosh. It is some more new printings, but this is going to be more focused on facsimiles. We get a 70th anniversary foil facsimile reprinting of Godzilla, The Kingdom of Monsters #1 with this cover by Alex Ross. This came out way back in the day. This is IDW's first issue into their Godzilla licensing foray. Classic material on the inside with art by Phil Hester. This is a foil cover with 36 pages for $9.99. Also over at DC, we get a facsimile reprinting of Detective Comics #31. Let's see what the big whoop is here. It is a full facsimile reprint of one of Batman's earliest adventures, which first introduced the Batarang and his original flying vehicle, the Bat Gyro. Batman travels from New York to Europe in pursuit of the hooded arch criminal known as the Monk, plus other Golden Age detective stories starring Slam Bradley, Bart Reagan, Speed Saunders, and more from DC Comics DC Facsimile Edition with a cover by Bob Kane. This is Detective Comics #31. Let's see, regular cover price for 64 pages is $6.99. We get that B cover, which is a foil variant, for $9.99. And then we get a blank cardstock variant for $7.99. All available on FOC this weekend for release on February 26th. Then over at Marvel Comics, we get a facsimile reprinting of Daredevil #1 with this classic Jack Kirby cover. Yeah, I guess that is a Jack Kirby cover. I thought it might have been Wally Wood, or not Wally Wood, Bill Everett, who does the interiors. This is a full facsimile reprinting of Daredevil #1 from 1963, written by Stan Lee with interiors by Bill Everett. Regular cover on this one is $4.99. We got a foil variant. I will be charging $10 for those. If you're interested, let me know. And that'll do it for our focus on new printings / facsimiles. Let's move on to second issues. Here's a very nice feature where we follow up on some new series that have a second issue solicited to be released in the near future. First one of which is a beautiful little subtle book called When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee. This is written by Gus Moreno with art by the brutal Jacob Rebelka for release on February 5th. First issue just debuted. It's fantastic. It is an amazing horror comic from Boom Studios. 32 pages for $4.99. Check it out. Next up, second issue for Green Hornet Miss Fury number 2. That first issue comes out this upcoming Wednesday. So if you're interested, please get those orders in, because I'll probably be cutting orders pretty hard. Shame on you publishers. Alex Segura is the writer. Artist is Federico Soressa with a cover by Francesco Francavilla. Next up, we get a new release from Distillery's series The Missionary with art by Jason Howard, written by Ryan Stegman. First issue came out quite a while ago. Let me see, probably about a month or so. So if you're still interested in this, let me know. Oh, yeah. And then, we got another one from Distillery, a second issue for Warm Fusion. Also have had that for a couple of weeks now. Real cool stuff from Alberto Ponticelli, who did this wraparound cover. And over at... that's the one. Over at Oni Press, we got a second issue for EC Cruel Kingdom. Number 1 did release this week, but it came in kind of late. So yeah, if you're interested in this, check out number 1 as soon as you can. Number 2 is on FOC this weekend for release on February 5th with stories by Karina Bechko and Chris Condon with art by PJ Holden and Andrea Muti. Get this Adam Polina cover. And then we get a second issue for Terror and Fury, new series I picked up from Zenoscope. And over at Dark Horse Comics, we get a second issue of Those Not Afraid number 2. That first issue just debuted a few days ago. Really brutal stuff from Kyle Starks with art by Patrick Piazzalunga and featuring really cool covers by Glenn Fabry. Release on February 12th. Then over at DC Comics, we get a second issue for Justice League The Atom Project, spinning out of the All-In era, written by John Ridley and Ryan Parrott with art by Mike Perkins, who also did this cover. Consequently, or I should say coincidentally, this issue had its cover swapped out with issue 3, so if this looks familiar for all the wrong reasons, that's why. Over at Marvel Comics, we get a second issue for the latest series starring Cable, Love and Chrome, written by David Pepos with art by Mike Henderson and this Ian Churchill cover. Second issue for Daredevil, Unleash Hell, Red Band, number 2. This is Polybag. First issue just came out this Wednesday, just a few days ago, written by Erica Schultz with interiors by Valentina Pinti, and this cover by Paulo Sequeira. Deadpool and Wolverine number 2 hits on February 12th with this cover by Joshua Cassara, written by Ben Percy. First issue was brutal. It was nuts. Looking forward to this number 2. And we get a second issue for New Champions, which also recently debuted. It's nice to see Marvel FOCing number 2 after number 1 hits. I don't mean to be cheeky. It's actually nice. I did pick out this Derek Chu cover for this New Champions number 2 because it's awfully swell, featuring the new character Phantasma. Sam Wilson, Captain America number 2 from Greg Pak and Evan Narcisse. Yeah, I think they got the credits switched around there. And Magic number 2 from Ashley Allen and German Peralta. Ooh, we got a couple more covers on this one to show you. because they're good and you'll buy them. Got a Mark Brooks animated style variant. By the way, this is a theme running throughout the month. The animated style by Mark Brooks brand there. Look for that in your Comichub carousels. That's it. Words. And we also got covers by Pablo Villalobos on Magic 2, number 2 from Ashley Allen, German Peralta, available on February 12th from Marvel Comics. And that gets us up to date on a bunch of second issues. Now let's move right into first issues. And we'll start with a look at... Wrong button. Some of the smaller press options this week, including from AWA Publishing, Cam Girl number 1 from Sarah Cho and artist C.P. Smith. Sarah Cho recently wrote the Red Light series, also bloody erotic thriller like Cam Girl here, with artist C.P. Smith, and a cover by Allison Sampson. And we got a B cover here from Tula Lote. Over at Battle Quest Comics, we get a new series called 27 Run Crash. It's a mouthful. It's a supersized series premiere. Get ready for epic mechs, monsters, and science fiction adventures in the 27 Run Crash. And who are we to disagree? An amnesiac pilot wakes to an AI-driven nightmare world filled with 27 gigantic, hungry creatures. 27, he's got a mech he doesn't remember how to use. He's surrounded by post-apocalyptic nothingness, and his only chance to survive is, well, it's not looking good. With new design, remaster pages, and more guest artists than you could shake a rail cannon at, the 27 Run is back, bigger and better than ever. 27 Run Crash number 1 from Justin Zimmerman and Russell Brown with a Jorge Corona cover from Battle Quest Comics. That's a much bigger plug than I expected to give that, but you know, mechs, big giant gross monsters. Gimme. Next up from Boom Studios, we get a new series written by Shobo, with cover artist Schaff and interior art by Alexandra Tafenki. Here we are. Soho, London. Childhood friends Timmy, Sango, and Kabonka. I don't know how to pronounce that. They reunite on the eve of the British Museum's historic purchase of the works of Timmy's father, the seminal Nigerian artist Adewale Balogun. Timmy has been invited as a guest of honor, but what the museum is heralded as a triumphant acquisition, the trio sees as nothing short of brazen cultural theft. From the writer that brought you New Masters and the artist of Once Upon a Time at the End of the World and The Good Asian, this is Bronze Faces from Boom Studios. We got a Schaff cover on A, Tafenki on B, and an anniversary variant by Dan Mora on C. This is Bronze Faces number 1 from Boom Studios, available on February 5th. Also from Boom Studios is Graveyard Club Fresh Blood. This is a new chapter of the legendary horror author R.L. Stine's coming-of-age teen thriller. It's here. The members of the Graveyard Club attempt to move on from the disturbing events of last semester, but the strange disappearances of Parker and Rhonda's father is too big of a mystery to ignore. A return to the scene of the crime may just be what they need to discover the terrifying truth of that night. But can they survive their investigation long enough to uncover the lurking darkness within? From Boom Studios, writer R.L. Stine. Yes, writer R.L. Stine. And artist Carola Borelli. This is the next chapter of Graveyard Club, Fresh Blood, with a cover price of $9.99. We got covers by Miguel Mercado. Let's look at that. Is that better? Yeah. Got a cover by Dan Mora. The anniversary variant by Miguel Mercado. And a FOC reveal cover by Tula Lote, I am to assume. This is the Graveyard Club Fresh Blood, available on April 16th. If you want any of these covers, get your orders in by this Monday. From Dynamite Entertainment, who apparently still has the Savage Tales license. Interesting. The Savage Tales return with a all-new winter special to warm the cockles of readers' wild and untamed hearts. Savage Tales Winter 2025 special features 3 hard-boiled stories packed with two-fisted action and barbaric brutality. Written by Dynamite Entertainment's master of pulp, David Avalone, and illustrated by a murderer's row of killer artists, including Eamon Casalos, Mariano Benitez, Chapo, Hamish, Monroe Cook, and other names. With covers by Arthur Sudum, Bjorn Behrens. Ooh, that's amazing. Everything looks so 3D modeled with him. Everything looks like miniatures. Where does he come up with all the time to paint all these miniatures? Cover C by Joseph Michael Linsner. And a cosplay cover. Yes, it is. From Dynamite Entertainment, Savage Tales Winter 2025 is on FOC this week for shipping on February 5th. Cover price $5.99, 40 pages. Right. Over at Mad Cave Studios. Ooh, it's getting cold in my underground studio here. Gotcha Man, Only One Earth is the new release. This is a 4-issue miniseries from Mad Cave Studios, from writer Tommy Lee Edwards, who did this A cover. He's joined by Nuno Platti for this new story that features Berg Katzi is ravaging the country of Atrina for rare mythical elements that create a psychic link between Galactor pilots and their weaponized mechs. As Joe and Ken's friendship is pushed to the limit during a mission to save Atrina's princess, the science ninja team uncovers an ancient temple that may hold the key to defeating Galactor once and for all. The first issue of an exciting event that connects to the Gotcha Man ongoing series from Mad Cave Studios. With this cover by Tommy Lee Edwards and a B cover by Nuno Platti, who does interiors. This is Gotcha Man, Only One Earth. Over at Vault, we get this interesting project. This is the sexiest number 0 issue ever. Yep, and it's only got this one cover that I'm getting, folks. There may be some other options available, but this is the only one I'm showing you anyways. Okay, let's see. Take a trip through time. From the origins of the intrepid triple explorers to a peek at the future with Money Shot, Big Bang number 0. Patton Oswalt and Garth Graham join Tim Seeley for the funniest and naughtiest arc of Money Shot yet. And here's where you get all caught up before diving into the future. With art from Carolyn Lee Lane, Giselle Lagasse, Rebecca Isaacs, and this cover by Garth Graham. Written by Tim Seeley, Sarah Beatty, and Patton Oswalt, who's all over in comics nowadays. Money Shot, Big Bang number 0. Available on February 12th. Oh, and by the way, this is in bundles of 10. If you're interested, go ahead and order one. We'll figure it out. Okay, over at Dark Horse Comics, we get this new Stranger Things spin-off series crossing over with Dungeons and Dragons called The Rise of Hellfire. Spell singing, sword swinging, and the luck of the dice have shaped the lives of the Stranger Things boys well before they had real monsters to face. This D&D crossover features Eddie Munson's rise to de facto leader of the Hellfire Club, his recruitment of Lucas, Dustin, and Mike, and glimpses into the fantasy worlds they conquered together. From Dark Horse Comics, writer Jody Hauser and interior artist Diego Galinda, we get covers from Magali Villanueva, Kyle Lambert in classic D&D cover style, Rebecca Puebla, Metal, Jeremy Wilson, and Nimit Malavia on cover E for Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons, number 1. This is a 4-issue miniseries from Dark Horse Comics. Over at IDW, we get a new Godzilla series in its 70th year. We get all this beautiful Godzilla product I'm very excited about. What if you could predict when and where Godzilla would appear? What if you knew of the perfect opportunity to pull off the heist of the century? Sounds familiar. Hai is a young man who knows 2 things. A heist needs a good distraction, and there's no distraction like Godzilla. So, when Hai discovers Godzilla responds to a specific energy signal, can send into the atmosphere, he creates the perfect opportunity to stage high-profile heists in the middle of Godzilla attacks. But these heists put Hai on the radar of some very dangerous men. Men who want Hai to work with them. Wow. Very Reservoir Dogs cover there. Work with them to pull off the most dangerous job the world has ever seen. Join the superstar crew of Van Jensen and Kelsey Ramsey for one last job in Godzilla Heist. We got this Bob Eggleton cover on A and a B cover, a fantastic B cover from Pablo Tunica. This is Godzilla Heist, number 1. Okay, that does it for number 1s from Small Press. Why don't we jump over to the big 2 here, and we'll kick off things with DC Comics. This is an ending of sorts. This is the final issue of Mr. Chip Zdarsky's run on Batman. He's had a good chance to tell a big epic story, and it all culminates with Batman 157, with the Court of Owls plans revealed and the city in chaos. Batman must find the strength to fight a war on multiple fronts and save Gotham from disaster. The fates of Jim Gordon, the Riddler, and all of Gotham rests in the hands of the Dark Knight in a climactic issue so big it takes 2 superstar artists to bring it to life. From Chip Zdarsky, Jorge Jimenez, and they are both joined by Tony Daniels on interiors. This is Batman number 157 with a Jorge Jimenez cover on A. Cardstock covers by Tony Harris, Tony Daniel, Mitch Gerrits on the Hush variant, and the Jorge Jimenez foil variant for $7.99, all for Batman 157, the final issue of Chip Zdarsky's run, available on February 5th. Okay, this is Poison Ivy number 30. Let's take a look at that a little closer. Poison Ivy number 30 is written by G. Willow Wilson with art by Marcio Takara, and this A cover by Jessica Fong, which also happens to be a flip book, a wraparound cover for this very special flip book issue. Poison Ivy 30 also has covers by a whole bunch of different artists. Let's see. This is a special flipbook issue, grievously injured after her encounter with the Order of the Green Knight's Master. Poison Ivy finds herself wandering a strange liminal zone inhabited by the gray, lost among the green. And the two friends attempt to find their way home. Wait, what did I miss there? Inhabited by the gray. I missed a whole line. Meanwhile, Janet. That's Janet there. Meanwhile, Janet, on a search for answers about the mysterious town of Marshview, finds herself lost amongst the green. As the two friends attempt to find their way home to each other, they're confronted by strange forces beyond each of their reckoning. Across their journeys, the question begins to shift from can they return to each other to who will they each be by the time they find one another again. Poison Ivy number 30, a very special flipbook issue, has this cover by Jessica Fong. A cardstock cover by Jenny Frizen. Pablo Villalobos is amazing. Wow. And Jorge Fornes on cover D with a special landscape foil variant by Jessica Fong. What I'm guessing here is they're going to take the art as it exists here and flip it around to be a vertical front cover on a foil version. That's just my guess. But that's $6.99. It's an expensive gamble. Beautiful cover, though. Okay, next up is all the number ones from Marvel this week. And this is the first part of a big storyline called Deadpool's versus Spider-Man. Well, I should say Deadpool's versus Spider-Man in Pools of Blood, Part 1. Deadpool and daughter embark on this first major job to take out Spider-Man. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. Or at least they do if they want to get paid. And the events of recent issues have put them in quite a pickle. Pools of Blood begins here with Part 1 and continues in this month's Miles Morales Spider-Man number 30. This crossover issue on Deadpool number 11 is written by Cody Ziegler with art by Andrea DeVito, and this cover by Torrin Clark. Got a Mark Brooks animated style cover and a Scott Koblish cover for Deadpool's number 11. We get this one shot, probably first time in print, sure enough. Join the Marvel Mutts in their very first comic book adventure, collecting issues 1 through 12 of the Friday Funnies series. These heartwarming tales and wagging tales are sure to elicit a round of applause. Good one. Featuring Lockjaw, Lucky, Cosmo, Bats, and Ms. Marvel's dearest doggy, Mittens. Uh-oh. Sorry about the little glitch there, folks. Marvel Mutts number 1 featuring Lockjaw, Lucky, Cosmo, Bats, and Ms. Marvel's dearest doggy, Mittens. This pack is packing the cute, so fetch yourself a copy and have a ball with Marvel's mightiest mutts. We got all kinds of swell covers from Takeshi Miyazawa, who does the interiors. Got this Chrissy Zulo cover. I think that's the cover she was born to paint. Ricky Yagawa, all for Marvel Mutts number 1, written by Mackenzie Cadenhead with interior art by Takeshi Miyazawa. And just a couple things left here. The big debut of the new series starring everybody's favorite Red Hulk. Red Hulk rages into one world under doom. Thunderbolt Ross, in a cell deep below the ground, is a prisoner of Dr. Doom, and he is not alone. Brilliant military, criminal, and political minds have been gathered against their will in a prison complex that serves as a think tank to help carry out Doom's plan for global domination. But the Red Hulk has other plans, guest starring Machine Man and Deathlock, some of my favorite robots. From writer Ben Percy, joined by Jeff Shaw, who does this cover on A. We got a Frank Miller cover. I want to get that tattoo. Red Hulk #1, Frank Miller cover. We got this Jacob Edgar Marvel Studios variant, a John Romita Jr. punching things really hard variant, and a Todd Knock iconic variant. With a blank variant for good measure, we got Red Hulk #1 with a cover price of $4.99, 32 pages by Ben Percy, Jeff Shaw, available on February 26th. All right, Red Hulk #1. And finally, folks, the moment Marvel has been building up to since the summer. One World Under Doom. Now I like this better. Let's get some zoomies. Yeah. 6 months ago, Dr. Victor Von Doom became Sorcerer Supreme, then disappeared behind Latveria's closed borders. For most, there's enough going on in the world that Doom's absence is not a priority. Some time without him feels like a blessing. Only a few recognize it for what it truly was. The calm before the storm. It is a storm that has now arrived. The world has woken up to a new reality. Dr. Doom, Earth's Sorcerer Supreme, has magically taken over every broadcast medium on the planet and declared himself Emperor of the world. The ruler of a new united Latveria. And shockingly, impossibly, all of Earth's leaders seem to be going along with this. Luckily, whether it's mind control or Doombots, whatever's affecting them hasn't affected Earth's heroes. So they quickly form a strike team to stop Doom's machinations. But will they succeed? And what happens when some begin to welcome their new emperor with open arms, clamoring for one world order under Doom? Marvel's biggest and most shocking event ever begins right here with One World Under Doom #1. 40 pages for $5.99, written by Fantastic Four writer Ryan North, with interior art by R.B. Silva. And this cover by Ben Harvey on A. Let me tell you, folks, I just read this. I just read a PDF preview of this. R.B. Silva's art is amazing. He is the artist of choice for Marvel's epic storylines, and rightly so. Got a B cover from Clayton Crane. Doomasaur, I love you. John Tyler Christopher negative space variant. Doomasaur. All right, moving on. We got a Mike Mignola hidden gem variant. Let's get back to that. And an RB Silva variant. Ooh, with a Rod Rice. And a Rose Besh variant. All for One World Under Doom. Available on February 12th. Get your orders for any of these variant covers in by this Monday at 12. And that wraps our look at first issues. But I got just a few more things to show you, and that'll be in our events section. And our first event I'd like to show you about is Brain Candy #64 Brain Candy is a free showcase of music, poetry, visual art, and prose from some of the Detroit area's premier talent. It happens every third Monday of the month. This month it happens on Monday, January 20th at 7 p.m. Brought to you free of charge by the Emerging Writers Network and made available to you by Green Brain Comics right inside the main store. Brain Candy number 64, Monday, January 20th. Coming up next month is our bi-monthly East Dearborn Drink and Draw on February 14th. That's right, Friday, February 14th. It's Valentine's Day. Celebrate Valentine's Day with your sweetie. Get yourself a beer. First beer's $1 off, courtesy of Downey Brewing. It all happens at Downey Brewing Company, 13121 Prospect Avenue. Yeah, also teaming up with our pals over at Blick Art Supply. Pardon me, I should put their logo in there. And join us back here on Tuesday night at 6:30 for the live stream preview of New Comic Book Day. It is Brain Scan, hosted by Katie Merritt, cameraed by myself, and audioed by Monty. It's a big team effort from Green Brain staff. Brain Scan live on YouTube. Maybe on Facebook. We'll see. And of course, we want to let you guys know we got a bunch of cool new comics coming out next Wednesday, January 15th from Dark Horse Comics, a new series called Behemoth. What happens after you get eaten by a big giant kaiju? Marvel revisits Rogue in the Savage Land, and Green Lantern learns what it's like to deal with a fractured spectrum. The next Green Lantern epic starts there. All happens on Wednesday, January 15th at Green Brain Comics. And of course, join me back here next Friday for another Final Order report where we bring you a curated list of all the new comics going to print and available to you for your last chance to order. Yeah. Don't forget, folks, deadline for the Final Order cutoff is Monday at noon, January 13th. Please confirm items in your cart before the deadline. Thanks for joining me for the Final Order report. Stay up to date on all of our happenings. We are Green Brain Comics on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. All of the links to our shopping cart, website, and Comic Hub are below in the description. Music for this episode provided by Brainstem Productions. We are spreading the love of comic books and graphic novels from the heart of East Downtown Dearborn since 1985. Feed your brain at Green Brain Comics. Thanks for watching, folks. See you soon. Emanating from deep under the earth, spreading across the globe at the speed of thought, changing the world one brain at a time. This is the Final Order report from Green Brain Comics.